This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones that encourage you to like and share them on social media. It's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition. Brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. Now here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
I was just so excited. I just had to talk.
Where have you been?
Oh my God. Well, I was here last week. I don't know where you were, but oh my God. Speaking of last week, we were going to have Burt on, and it didn't work out. But guess what? We have him on this morning. So I think we have him on the line. So let's welcome Burt Goulding Jr. from Positive Power Nutrition to the show. And I just realized I don't have a headset on.
Oh, hold on a second. We'll hook you right up.
I'm so used to not having a headset anymore. So Burt could be just saying everything and anything right now, and I wouldn't know a word he's saying. Oh, Burt, it's been one of those weeks. Oh, my gosh. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, my God. This is just hysterical. Oh, man. Boy. I think of you often, Burt, as a father of 10, right? And I just don't know how you do it. 10? We're going to have to off-air, do a little parenting course for me, okay? Because, man, some challenges, boy. But welcome to the show, Burt. We missed you last week, but we're super excited about today. I think for any of our loyal fans, they're excited to hear your voice again. You always teach us new things. And for any newbies, welcome to the show. We love having you spend some time with us this morning. So, Burt, you ready for some breath work? I definitely need it.
Yes, I need it too.
All right, good. All right, so everyone, and so Cliff, you didn't forget how to count, right?
No, but I do remember I did have a vacation last week. That's why I wasn't here.
That's right. And I did before that. So look at us. We're just vacation animals, right?
Only something.
Oh, man. All right, so we're going to do some breath work right now. I would love for everyone listening to join in. Super simple. We're going to breathe out any negativity, stress, anything that has your body just not feeling great. And we're going to breathe in only using our nose for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, and let's do 3 rounds so we can get right to the discussion with Burt.
It's great for a bad case of the blahs you might be experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you do it outside, maybe sitting in the grass and just kind of getting in all Mother Nature has to offer. All right.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, Burt, let's exhale out all the negativity.
Let it all out, and now through the nostrils only, let's begin. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Increase and do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Release.
Felt so good, we lost our place.
I think you started meditating with your count.
Well, I started seeing clouds and lights and stuff. So,
but that's the best part, know, because sometimes it doesn't matter the rules, as long as you're calming your body down and connect with your breath. That's what I love with the meditation. I just focus on my breath, and I don't worry about anything else.
Right,
so.
And if you do that, you can do it for hours, and the time just goes right by.
Definitely.
People walk in and talk to you and ask you something, and you can answer them.
I really like your headset. I think I'm going to play this trick every Thursday morning and be like, oh, I forgot it, so you have to quickly hand me yours. I do. Okay. Yours is special. I love it.
Full of good vibes, yeah.
Lots of good vibes. All right, Burt, are you ready to talk about some positive power nutrition?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to start, just in case we have some newbies, just if you can give us, a few minutes of who you are and what brought you to Positive Power Nutrition and your journey there.
Yes, I am a clinical nutritionist, and I've been doing that for 16, almost 17 years now. And so I've had an opportunity to work with doctors' patients that have been referred to me, over 5,000 individuals. so, I would say the first 3 or 4 months that I was practicing, it was quite an adventure, finding out what really worked, which is a lot different than what's in the textbooks. But that's really how I kind of started my journey. I've been involved in natural health since 1981, but in the last 16 or 17 years, I've just learned so much about how the human body actually works, and it's been great. And it's not all in the past. I would say, just about every week I learn something new. I certainly learn a lot by being on the show here with you, Joanne.
Oh, well, thank you. And what about Positive Power Nutrition? What made you kind of go from being nutritionist to actually having a supplement company?
Well, it was interesting because we had discovered a couple of supplements that had been around since before I was born. Cell Power was available starting in 1949, so this is the 72nd year of Cell Power as a liquid supplement that you put in your drinking water. And about 9 years later, Super Silica was discovered. And so as we've been getting this out to the whole country and many parts of the world now, it's just been quite an adventure. And now, we've been able to discover how chi energy is measured in terms of supplements. So one of the things I'm most excited about right now is the fact that our high energy C complex 900 capsule is not just a vegan formula with a special vegan capsule, but it has the highest energy of any vitamin C or vitamin C complex in the entire world. It's three times higher.
Why is that, Burt? Like, what gives it its energy?
It's a complex, so it has 3 different forms of food-grade vitamin C, food source, and it has 4 different types of bioflavonoids, and it's the freshness and it's the quality. I mean, these are not inexpensive ingredients to source. I would say most companies just want to get the least expensive vitamin C out there for the public, but you're getting almost nothing. And in terms of electrical potential, most vitamin C's on the market that we test only have about 7,000 to 8,000 on electrical potential. So, and in terms of what it does to increase the chi or the universal energy traveling through our body. The Positive Power Nutrition High Energy C Complex 900 actually comes in at 1.5 million. So it's 3 times higher on electrical flow and electrical potential than the second highest brand in the world, which is Dr. Rath's Vita C Forte, an excellent formula, but it comes in at 500,000. Ours is at 1.5 million. And we have people that are just really, really experts in terms of measuring these electrical potentials in humans, in supplements, in just every living thing. And it helps us formulate.
Well, Burt, there might be some listeners that might not be understanding like the word chi and the body's potential energy or the supplements. I think that a little quick explanation, because I discuss it at the store, especially about the Cell Power, and sometimes I can see they're glazing over a bit, like, what? Energy? What are you talking about? So could you kind of talk about chi a little bit and potential energy and how it's measured?
Yes, our bodies run on electricity. Now, one of the kind of wake-up calls for anyone is if somebody is down on the ground and their heart stopped beating and you're trying to run for a defibrillator. One of the things you're going to do is have it charge up in electricity and tell everybody else not to touch the body, and then you're going to go ahead and hit that electricity with 2 paddles on the person's body to get it going again. So everything is based on electricity. So all of the products that Positive Power Nutrition makes are based on getting a high electrical flow. So with chi, that's the electricity that travels through the connective tissue as measured on what in Eastern medicine is called meridians. It's a network of basically electrical pathways through the connective tissue. So chi is the higher energy. It's the higher amperage, the higher voltage in the body. We think that of electricity running through our nerves, but the nerves are really just for communication. So it would be like, if you still have a landline in your office or in your home, or if you can remember back to a time when, phones were not just mobile walking around with them, but they had wires connected to them. They all ran on, and they still do run on electricity, but the voltage is really, really low, and that's what the nerves are in the body. They communicate pain, they help muscles contract or relax. So your nerves are a great communication network, but it's very, very little electricity. Whereas the higher electricity, something to run your computer or your refrigerator or whatever it is coming out of the wall, that would be comparable to the higher electrical flow that runs through the meridians. So as our body formed physically in the womb before we were born, these meridian pathways where the chi energy can flow were developed because we all started out as just one cell. And then as our body grew into 3 or 4 trillion cells that all worked together by the time we were born, all of the arms and legs and hands and feet, as they were formed, it built pathways for this energy. So what we need to do is keep the energy high. And what takes the most electrical energy in the human body, we've talked about this before, is digestion. So breaking down the food we put into our body uses up the most electricity. So we've got to constantly be replenishing electricity. The second highest use or consumption of electricity in the human body is vision. Just opening up the eyelids will take a tremendous amount of electricity. And finally, we have...
I didn't know that one. Okay.
Well, it's interesting because with our mobile phones or our personal devices, it's really easy to see this. If you go ahead and ever go into the app on your phone that asks about energy consumption, what uses up your battery, you'll see that taking video, of the kids or the grandkids or whatever, whenever you use the video function, more than just a single snapshot, but when you use the camera function of your phone, video will use up the battery faster than anything else your phone does. And that's because the mobile phone, the modern so-called smartphone, is based on how the human body works. The whole idea of digital photography is based on how the eyeball actually works. Because, there were cameras for maybe 100, 150 years that used film. Young people don't even know what film is on a camera, but, you would have to buy a roll of film and put it in the camera, but that's not how the eyes work. Instead, once they discovered that the macula of the eye, which is right in the center of the retina, is really, really high in silica, which is silicon and oxygen, they were able to create, in technology, a CCD chip, which is extremely high in silicon, so that they could mimic the human eye and actually capture an image onto the CCD chip, which then goes through a little wire into the memories and stored in your digital camera or your phone that has a digital camera built into it. Now that's based on how the macula works with the optic nerve and storing those images in our brain. So it uses up a tremendous amount. I always tell people, if you're feeling really, really tired, just where you're sitting or standing, not while driving, but sitting or standing, you just close your eyelids, and many people will feel that their energy drain almost goes away.
Wow.
It takes a tremendous amount of energy for seeing properly. So for people who are having vision problems, a lot of it could just be that they're lacking sufficient electricity for the eyes to function properly.
And I'm definitely thinking your eye energy would be perfect for helping that. But let me just say, because it's funny that we're talking about this. It's just, I was saying to my son who's not feeling well, I'll just be on my computer. And I'm like, no, that's still taking energy. He's like, but I'm just sitting here, Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you really like this. Now I'm going to be able to define what I thought. So perfect.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, for somebody who says, "Oh, I'm just, I'm feeling sick, I'm trying to recover," you don't watch TV, you don't get on the computer, you don't get on your phone, and boy, like I say, for anybody younger than about 25 or 30, the idea of not having the phone in their hand and looking at the screen just makes them so nervous, so anxious, like, oh, no, I have to be looking at something on this little screen. But by doing that, not only is it using up more electricity than doing jumping jacks or running. I mean, you could be outside jogging and you would use up less electricity in your body than you do just looking at a computer screen or a phone screen. So if you just allow those eyelids to close, you'll conserve energy. And so many people are so concerned about insomnia and, oh, I can't get to sleep, and they're so frustrated about it. And I tell them, if you just close your eyes, do the same deep breathing exercises that we started the show with, and do that all during the night, even if you never fall asleep, you will get 90% of the benefits of sleep, even if you never actually go into a state of sleep.
That's
it's
a great recommendation, because so many people do come up with insomnia issues, and I know many of them will scroll on their devices, because they can't sleep. And I'm like, no, that doesn't sound good. That's not a way to get rest. So great. So we'll just tell them, close their eyes, do some breath work, and, get the body recouped.
And if you have to listen to something, I'm a big fan of putting on an album of Gregorian chant music.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
And turning it kind of low so you can just barely hear it. And I'm telling you, if that doesn't put you to sleep, don't worry about it. It's the frustration and the anxiety that people have of saying, oh, I can't get to sleep, and then they get angry. And then, of course, the more angry they get, the worse rest. And we want to conserve our energy. So there are ways to increase the energy, but it's not from the so-called energy drinks. Those destroy the energy of the body. It's not from the stimulants and from the caffeine. That does not add energy to your body. It sucks energy out of your body. But to increase energy, we want to get natural sunshine, not huge amounts. I try to get about 15 to 20 minutes without any sunscreen at all, maybe mid-morning or hopefully before noon, every day that I can, every day that's possible. If I work during the night, here in our R&D facility, then I try to get home by about 11 a.m., go out and get 15 to 20 minutes sunshine on the front and then the back, wearing a minimal swimsuit and just soaking up the rays. That will add so much electricity to our body because the skin acts like solar panels for the human body. Again, where did the idea of solar panels come? A lot of this came from health research and medical research.
I didn't know that. So as far as just converting energy to, fuel the house, the same thing as fueling the body?
It really is. Your body will get, the interesting thing about it, and this is way beyond what solar cells do, is that drinking purified or distilled water, as much as you can, 3, 4 quarts, 5 quarts per day, of just water with nothing in it. I mean, you can put some cell power drops or some super silica drops, because all that's going to do is raise the electricity level of the drinking water before you even get started. But once that gets into your body, the human body has the ability to do twice as much as plants do. Plants will take water and split or disassociate the water molecule. The H2O goes into 2 hydrogen ions and 1 oxygen ion. That's what plants do. The human body has the ability to not just do this molecular fission of splitting molecules of water, but it also has the ability to do molecular fusion, is that it will regroup the 2 hydrogen ions and the oxygen ion and to make water. So it creates electricity in the body both directions. So once that cycle gets going, and that's what Cell Power does as far as a dietary supplement, you put 4 drops of Cell Power liquid into 16 ounces or more of purified or distilled water. That's going to be the best way to start increasing energy. So distilled or purified water starts out with a electrical potential of about 7,000, which is not bad when that comes to water. Okay, but as soon as you put 4 drops of Cell Power into it, it immediately goes to 13 million on the energy scale, and that happens within 10 seconds. Then
That's
when you
incredible.
go ahead and drink that water, you're already starting at 13 million.
Well, and I love when you equate that to like blueberries, because I think a lot of our listeners and customers understand how healthy blueberries are. Can you tell us the difference between your cell power and the blueberries?
Yes, the highest of all foods that have been measured, and people try to measure every possible food to find, what has the highest electrical energy. And this is a measurement on a Bovis energy scale, which is how we measure chi, or the higher electricity moving through our bodies. So the highest is fresh picked raspberries. They had some ripe raspberries that were picked, and they were measured for energy within 5 minutes. They take the all-time record at 26,500. Then comes strawberries and blueberries, which are in the range of about 20 to 25,000. And then you have vegetables come in a little bit lower than fruit. Grains come in lower than fruits or vegetables. That probably makes a lot of sense for people going, oh, yeah. I mean, grain has a lot of stored energy, but it's a lot less than fresh, ripe fruit and fresh, ripe vegetables. Then below grains come in dairy and meat and those kinds of things. And so, as we eat foods that have more energy that can be released and foods that are easily digestible, because a lot of times a person will eat food that is so hard for the body to digest that if it's providing, say, 20,000 or 15,000 energy units on this subtle energy scale, but if your body takes up, if it provides 15,000 and digestion uses up 14,000, you're really not ending up with much.
Right. Well, and one thing true is that, berries, especially the organic right now, are a little pricey. So using the cell power is, to me, so much more affordable and easier. Like, it doesn't mean you don't still want to have those high energy foods, but I just get some peace of mind every morning when I do the drops in the water, because I'm like, okay, I got my potential energy up. Start my day well, because sometimes it's hard to $5 to $8 a little pack of raspberries,
That's right.
It adds up.
Yeah. No, every time I'm always looking for deals on raspberries, but then I have to make sure that it's not on sale or cheap because they're old and they've been sitting around.
Exactly. They're going to be mush in a day. Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, I know that too well. All right, Burt, we're going to take a quick break, okay, because we're at the 10:30 mark, and then when we come back, we'll go into more of your great products. Be right back.
You're listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, which will return in just a moment.
Hey, it's Dr. Ravi at Tradition Family Chiropractic. We are dedicated to serving you and your family with integrity, compassion, and innovative care through the most advanced chiropractic care ever in chiropractic history, encouraging your health and your family's health to its maximum potential on a regular basis. Call us today at 772-345-0060 or schedule online at traditionhealth.com for your free consultation.
Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World, hoping that you visit my store and wellness center. We have incorporated cutting-edge services to help you feel better. Check out my online store at joannesnutritionworld.com. Really great deals and free shipping over $50. I am really hoping that all my listeners are taking time right now to get fresh air, to get exercise into their daily routine, keep hydrated, and get the proper amount of sleep. It's critical right now that attitude is everything. To please take time to laugh, to give yourself a break. You can find Nutrition World right on US 1 in Fort Pierce, across from Fort Pierce City Hall, in between Orange Avenue and Avenue A. Our phone number is 772-464-3598. Call me with any questions or concerns. All my best, Joanne.
Joanne's Nutrition World, now open from 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday. Call 464-3598.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition on WPSL. And once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you spending some time with us. I want to make a quick announcement. Our $99 wellness special, where you get a 50-minute massage and one of our other services, the PEMF mat, Ion Foot Detox, or infrared sauna, is going to go on to the fall, and then it's just going to do a little increase by $20. So if you want to, partake or buy a gift certificate, we'll honor that as well. So definitely come check out the Wellness Center, and really great couple of hours you'll spend with us, and get your body feeling good and energized, because we put the positive power, cell power, in every water bottle before the services. So thanks to that tip that Burt gave me many shows ago. All right, Burt, so you're talking about you always talk about different things every show. I love that about you. And so you're first half just about energy and all that good stuff. So now let's, you talked about the vitamin C, and I got to be honest, I don't carry it, but I am definitely going to order it because I love all your products. So can we talk about the silica as far as treatments and stuff? Because I was wondering, can I use those like after their services? Like, because usually after the sauna or the Ion Foot Detox, they need more water, so that I give them another water bottle.
Yes, I find that if a person wants to get more toxins out during a infrared sauna session or during an Ion Foot Detox, then they want to be doing 1 or 2 servings of the super silica in water about 30 minutes before the session. And then what we're seeing is double or even triple the amount of toxins coming out during the session. Afterwards, a lot of times we'll use cell power, because it restores the electrolytes, because it's impossible to get rid of poisons without losing electrolytes. The only way that poisonous heavy chemicals and heavy metals will leave your body is if they're accompanied by good minerals that we call electrolytes. So that means that for every molecule of, say, mercury or tin or nickel or lead or aluminum that leaves your body, it's accompanied by 2 molecules of good minerals that you have to replace. So if you're getting out the bad and you lose some of the good with it, you want to replace the good. Okay. And if you have enough of these things in your body, it will actually block poisons from being reabsorbed. If you have enough silica in your body, you will not absorb aluminum anymore. The body just will not. It doesn't have room for the aluminum if you have enough silica there. If you're low on silica, there's plenty of space for the aluminum, and sometimes the body actively lets it in, even though it's kind of toxic. It needs it as a space holder so that the body doesn't collapse in size because of the lack of a mineral inside. Same thing, if you have enough zinc and enough silver, like colloidal silver, in your body, it will push the cadmium out, which is extremely dangerous heavy metal, and then it blocks the cadmium from being reabsorbed.
Do you use the colloidal silver in your practice?
I do. I always test and see what the person needs, and we use the silver a lot. I mean, for all of our children as they were growing up, if they had like a sore throat, and it was really bad sore throat, we would get them to go ahead and drink like 2 ounces of colloidal silver, kind of hold it in their mouth, let it go down, and we would find that the sore throat had improved so much by the next day. Now, cell power in your water can help to some degree also, but the colloidal silver is very soothing. It doesn't have the high electricity that cell power does. Cell power is the highest electrical potential, the highest chi of any supplement of any kind or any food anywhere on the planet. On planet Earth, nothing's been discovered that it exceeds the 13 million electrical potential of cell power.
That's so incredible. I love that. It's so incredible.
Yeah, but we keep searching, we keep working on it. As a matter of fact, it looks like our next version of vitamin C, which we keep trying to improve. Everybody says, well, you already have the #1 vitamin C in the world, and it's 3 times better than the #2 vitamin C complex. Wouldn't that just be good enough? Just rest on your laurels. And we're like, no, we're constantly looking for what's going to improve. And the next version, we found out that by adding a little bit of silica to the formula, it actually increases the energy in the high-energy C complex by 80 times. So it will actually be a supplement that will pass up cell power for the first time.
Wow.
In terms
That's
of,
exciting.
Yeah, the people that were testing it, once they went ahead and had the version 4, which is the high-energy C complex 1250 instead of the C complex 900, with the 1250, which will start shipping this next week, during all of the testing, once people had the one that was 80 times stronger, they wouldn't even go back to version 3.
Now, that information that, it's pretty, I think, old at this point, but if you take vitamin C and then your bowels flush, that means you have enough. Can you give me your take on that whole vitamin C story?
Well, it just means that you are increasing it too quickly. So what happens is that most people can start out with about 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. Some people, maybe they have to start a little bit less. And then if you increase it, if you want to get up to what Dr. Linus Pauling was taking, which was 35,000 milligrams of vitamin C in a day, and he did that for like 35 years straight, lived into his mid-90s. He was working at a university, still teaching into his late 80s. And he got up to 35,000 milligrams, but you'd have to do that very, very slowly. So if you have where your bowel just evacuates, you think it's kind of like a diarrhea symptom, it's actually called ascorbic acid flush. And it's because you have so much good acids. What the ascorbic acid in a natural vitamin C, a food-based vitamin C, is such a good acid that it pushes all the bad acids out. And the reason it does that is that it, like charges repel and opposite charges attract. So if you can get enough good acids in your body, it'll push all the bad acids out. For example, there is so much bad acid in tobacco, not just smoke, but also in tobacco juice if you're chewing tobacco. There's so many bad acids in that a person would need to do a lot of apple cider vinegar and fresh garlic and fresh onions, just loads of it at all meals, all during the whole day, in order to push all the bad acids of the tobacco out of your body so it doesn't create cancer. If you can get the bad acids out of your body from coffee, tobacco, alcohol, any tea that has tannic acid in it, like a black tea or a white tea or Earl Grey, if you get all of those bad acids out of your body, then it stops the destruction that they do. And the best way to push it out is a good acid.
Wow, that is such great information, Burt. I kind of wish I had a pen. I would have taken notes on that one.
Well, here's the interesting thing, Joanne, is if you can get enough vitamin C back into your body for a person who has cataracts, and if a lot of people have cataracts do not want to opt for the surgery, because you lose your natural lens. You say, well, the surgery doesn't repair your lens. All it does is it slips a plastic lens into the eyeball to take the place of a natural, cellular-based human lens. So if you want to do that, if you can get enough vitamin C, then 3 out of 4 people that get enough vitamin C into their body, the lens will completely clear up, and the cataracts are no longer symptomatic. A person has perfectly clear vision, but it requires vitamin C because cataracts are a early sign of scurvy, and scurvy is a very serious ascorbic acid or vitamin C deficiency.
You have to become a limey.
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
A limey.
Oh my God, you're so funny, Cliff.
Burt,
this is so cool, isn't it, Cliff?
Fascinating.
And the thing too is if you think about it, a lot of us are not eating, the foods that maybe we should be, and so no one would talk about scurvy now, but you can well be sure that everyone's talking about cataracts.
I don't think scurvy it could exist in Florida.
Yeah. In the form of cataracts.
Yeah.
No.
Surprise.
It does. As a matter of fact, when you talk about limeys, the whole reason that the English wasn't just the English Navy back in the 1600s and 1700s were trying to find a way to eliminate scurvy for the sailors it wasn't any concern for the sailors' lives, because you could get a new sailor just by, when you pulled into port, you would take your swords or your muskets in, and you would just Shanghai people and grab them, kidnap them, and take them onto the boat, and then you'd sail away. So they weren't concerned. If a person got sick with scurvy on board and they couldn't function anymore, they just threw them overboard to the sharks.
Oh my
but
God!
What actually? I don't sound it. We romanticize a time in the world that was just brutal. You know, if you couldn't work, you were just, you know, killed. So what happened at the time, though, is that the merchants that had these ships, they have a person up in the crow's nest, and as they're coming back into port and they're trying to, you know, have a person that says land ho, and they're really not so much trying to say, oh, I see, you know, an island or a continent way off in the distance. It was to direct them around these rocks so they wouldn't run aground and destroy the ship. So what would happen is that, you know, they would run into this rock formation, destroy the ship, lose their cargo, all these things, and as the person falls out of the crow's nest, they come over and say, well, why didn't you call it land ho? And the person would say, you know, it's just really, really cloudy today. I couldn't see the rocks. And the other else is saying, it's not cloudy at all today. It's a clear day. Well, the person had scurvy, and so they had to come up with the lemons and the limes and everything else, not so much to save the people as it was to save the, you know, they were capitalists. It was to save the ships and the cargo. So you've got this cataracts, this cloudy eye situation, which is clearly a vitamin C deficiency. We've been able to see that. I know naturopathic doctors that have been clearing that up for over 30 years now. And so there's a protocol on how to do that. But vitamin C is critical to that. Now, it's completely different than, you know, retina problems or macular degeneration or anything else. The lens is, when it lacks vitamin C, it starts to not become clear. It's not transparent.
Wow. I feel like you were a history teacher, you know, early on or something. You're so good at explaining these stories. They're so, like, story-like. I love it. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to order the vitamin C. We probably will have people, you know, calling or coming in right after the show, even though I'm saying I don't have it yet, but I will get it ASAP.
Well,
so,
you know, Joanne, do you have some people that come in that say, you know, I can't take vitamin C, it really upsets my stomach?
yeah, I have a lot of people. That's why I brought up the whole ascorbic acid thing, because they'll say, oh, do you have the buffered one? And I don't hear it as often, but they still get the tummy upset.
Right. So with the buffered one, they found out that by buffering it with calcium, you know, because the calcium will buffer any acid, and vitamin C, especially a good food source vitamin C, is what you want. You know, so it would help, but even though it would kind of help with the digestion a little bit, buffering it with calcium for a C is not the best way to do it. On the Positive Power Nutrition High Energy C Complex, it has no extra calcium, and yet is the gentlest thing on the stomach because it's buffered naturally with 4 different kinds of bioflavonoids. Now, in nature, vitamin C is always found with bioflavonoids. So if you're taking a vitamin C formula that doesn't have really good bioflavonoids with it, you're not taking, you know, your vitamin C the way that nature intended it. In citrus fruit, it's all of that white pith, I believe is the name. It's you know, if you're peeling an orange, it's what gets under your fingernails. It's what holds the sections together when you pull the grapefruit sections or the orange sections apart. It's what creates the section. It's that white pulpy part that is bioflavonoids. That's in our vitamin C. It naturally buffers it. And what we found is that even people that have not been able to, for digestive or stomach reasons, to take any of their vitamin C, they take this one. And so a lot of people that have elderly parents, they get them to try 1 or 2 capsules. When they say, oh, yeah, that's great, I can take it, they find out that their parents themselves are requesting, I want to take more. They're taking 4 or 5 capsules a day, whereas before they had none.
Wow,
and
that's wonderful.
Vitamin C combined with L-Lysine. So when they come into the store to get the high-energy C complex, and if they get a good brand of L-Lysine, if they take the 2 together, I'll take 1 of our high-energy C complex capsules and 1 L-Lysine capsule. I match them. So, for example, for the next 6 weeks, my personal routine is I take 6 vitamin C capsules a day and 6 L-Lysine capsules. When you match them 1-to-1, what it does is it actually creates in the human body a natural system that will shut down all viruses and all bacteria.
That's incredible. Have you been doing this routine for a long time?
I've just started recently by combining them 1-to-1 like that, but it creates something that even though you may be exposed to a virus and it gets in your body and starts to replicate, the body will create a stronger form of collagen if you have enough vitamin C and lysine with it that will shut down the virus. It basically suffocates the virus without doing any harm to the cells of our body. It just gives us the protection that goes beyond the immune system. I mean, the immune system is great for hunting down invaders, but if you can actually trap and eliminate the invaders, so I mean, almost everybody I know right now is starting to take more vitamin C and more L-Lysine on a daily basis because it gives you a protection that right now in the history of the world, we need that kind of protection more than we've ever needed it.
Totally agree. And I know that I've been successful with lysine for many, many years, helping people with their immune system. So this makes perfect sense to combine the two. So great info. I'm kind of getting excited, but I'm also making a list what to stock more of at the store now that you're saying all this. So we got the C, the lysine. Okay. All right. So let's see. What else can we cover? We have about 10 more minutes. So we're talking to Burt with Positive Power Nutrition. We got the Cell Power, which everyone that's been at my store knows I love. It's right there, right by the register. And we give it to all our wellness clients. And now we're going to, amp up the silica as well. And the eye energy is doing really well too, Burt. My husband loves it, and we're really promoting that well. So we definitely need more of that too.
Well, you and your husband do such healthy things. I love
we
it.
try.
Yeah, you and I don't get a chance to talk very much except when we're on a radio program. But when you're saying, oh, yeah, we're doing this or we're doing that, and I'm going, that's really what it is. Everybody needs to find a way to do healthy things and just, with whatever works, stick with it and continually look for what's going to improve. Did we talk at all about nattokinase on the last program we were on together?
No, but I love natto. I mean, feel free to discuss it because a lot of people are going to be like, what, natto? So, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, nattokinase is so critical right now because whether a person has been exposed to a variant of coronavirus type situation or whether they've taken a vaccine for that, nattokinase is what's, for many people, is going to be the difference between life and death because it's going to help keep the arteries and the capillaries free from the debris from both vaccinations and viruses. It's really about the only way that a person can keep the capillaries open for blood flow is to do that. So my wife and I have both been taking 2 nattokinase capsules. There's lots of good brands. I'm sure you have great brands at your store. So 2 capsules, one morning and one afternoon or evening, so 2 a day. And we've been doing that for 3 months now. Okay. And it's really helped lower the blockage in the capillaries to about half.
That's incredible. I've been doing so much research, of course, about the coronavirus, and everything you're bringing up is none of the things that we've been talking about. So I love it because it really is making my mind grow and learn and, experience a different conversation. So, and it all makes sense, of course. Now, the natto is in one of my #1 selling formulas, so I feel like most of my customer base has been getting it. I'm not sure if they've been getting enough of it, so I will definitely increase that. But God, great tips, Burt. Really great tips. And the other thing that, since you're giving us, I've been trying not to have the COVID conversation. I don't know why, but I'm just like every day, 6 days a week. But with you, it's okay. So the heaviness in the chest, when I lose sleep or one of the kids makes me feel like, okay, I'm challenged there or something, I really sometimes take it to heart, heavy on my chest, and so do you have advice for that, like that heaviness, like where you feel like, you're not sick, your temperature's fine, but you just have a heaviness on your chest?
Well, I think so much of that is, we're talking about what we feel in our lungs and what we're feeling with the heart. Now, the heart doesn't really pump blood throughout the whole body. We've been taught that ever since kindergarten, but that's not really...
I know everyone thinks it's a pump, yep.
Yeah, and it is a pump to get the blood into the lungs and back out of the lungs. But after that, what gets the blood to the body are the arteries, because the arteries are really long pumps. Every bit of artery has muscle in it, and it has a nerve going down the outside of the artery so that it's pumping it in succession, kind of like you would try to squeeze a tube of toothpaste to get the toothpaste out at the end. That's what the arteries are doing. It starts to squeeze right next to the heart, where the heart is able to eject the blood about 2 or 3 inches into the artery. That's all the power the heart has. It doesn't go more than 2 or 3 inches. And the artery squeezes there, and then it squeezes after it, and it gets it all the way out to the extremities. So that heaviness that you're talking about feeling in the chest, a lot of that has to do with breathing itself, and a lot of that could be really what we're exposed to clogging the capillaries. I mean, if you think about it, the blood has to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide in the lungs, so it has to get down to very, very small capillaries. Obviously, the greatest number of capillaries are in the brain itself. Thousands of miles of small blood vessels, the smallest blood vessels that we call capillaries, thousands and thousands of miles of capillaries in the brain. But in the lung area, it has to be able to exchange gases to the blood so it gets all the way out there. So I think a lot of that heaviness that people feel in their chest is a respiratory issue combined with a blockage. What most people don't realize is that they can get up to 90% blockage in the arteries and capillaries in their body without even knowing it, without even picking it up. And it's not from cholesterol, it's not from plaque, it's from fibrin. Fibrin is a component of your blood that you need to have, but when it gets vibrated by Wi-Fi in your house or the office, so Wi-Fi signals or cell phone signals, when that hits your body, it vibrates at just the right vibration to start hardening the blood. And so you end up with all of these blockages. We have a product, and I'm pretty sure you have this one. It's the super circulation.
I'm just going to say yes and I'll order it right after the show.
well, super circulation, out of all of our capsules, out of everything that we make that's not liquid, it's by far the number one seller. Now, we had enough, we make these huge batches of super circulation, so we had enough to last till January, and yet we ran out about 3 weeks ago. So it's going to be about another week and a half. We've got this waiting list of hundreds and hundreds of orders to go out to stores on super circulation, but we were so caught off guard because we were watching the levels, and suddenly stores that were ordering 6 bottles at a time started ordering 24 or 30 or 50 bottles of super circulation. It is able to, in an herbal way and with niacin, help increase the circulation of blood in the body. And the only thing that it can't do is what nattokinase does, which is break down the fibrin blockages. It safely helps break down fibrin. Now, a person can't take nattokinase if they're on any kind of an aspirin-a-day regimen or if they're on any blood thinners, because people are using aspirin or blood thinners or whatever, hopefully under a doctor's supervision and not on their own, but they are using that because of 2 things. One, they're dehydrated. They're not drinking enough water. Some people say, oh, yeah, I drink a lot of water. I drink 16 ounces a day. Well, we should be having 100 to 150 ounces of good, clean water every single day, 7 days a week. But without enough water, then the blood gets thick. But the other part is that with the constant being hit by cell phone signals, which go up to 30 feet from the phone, and Wi-Fi signals, it's causing the fibrin to get hardened in the body, which means you would need the nattokinase to help break down and dissolve those mini clots. Remember how everybody heard that with the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine that there were like 8 or 9 women that had died from blood clots?
Yes, I definitely heard that.
I think the whole country heard of that, right? And then after that, they pulled it out of the hospital, said you can't get that vaccine for a while, and then they went and looked at it, researched, and they came back and said, oh, no, it's not really the vaccine. And I believe that to some degree, is that, yes, all vaccines will increase the blockage in the capillaries and the arteries, but what was the underlying problem is that if individuals already had fibrin-based blockages from the Wi-Fi and the cell phone frequencies hitting their bodies, then anything that increases the blockages, even by a few percent, could lead to these strokes or fatal strokes. So I'm a big fan of nattokinase right now. The super circulation is amazing. I started out with just 1 or 2. I got all the way up to 8 a day because we have a lot of stores up in New York and Pennsylvania that the customers that were taking 8 capsules a day of super circulation were finding that the feeling were coming back to their feet, even if they had numb feet for 2 or 3 years and hadn't been able to feel their feet at all, with the nerves not functioning to the extremities.
Yeah, I find that's more and more common now. It's incredibly common. So I guess I have to go on that list for super circulation too.
We'll put you at the top of the list, Joanne.
Awesome. Oh, Burt, we're out of time. You definitely really talked about so many different things today, so I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I guess till next time, right? And stay well, and I hope the family does well as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Burt. Take care.
All right.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World, US 1 at Orange Avenue across from City Hall. It used to be the historic Arcade Building, now known as the Crass Plaza. Archives of this show are on YouTube. Go to WPSLTV.com and binge watch Joanne's World of Nutrition on YouTube. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, webcaster to the world on Google Home, Alexa, and the TuneIn app on your smartphone. It's 11 o'clock.